On my 51st birthday, my wife announced she was leaving for a younger man. My daughters applauded. I calmly set my plate aside and said, "Be happy, girls." But know this, I'm not your biological father. I adopted you out of pity. And today my pity ends. I turned 51 yesterday. I thought we were having a quiet family dinner. Instead, I got a front row seat to my own execution. My wife of 25 years, Sarah, sat across the dining table. My twin daughters, Chloe and Mia, 22 and fresh out of college, paid for in full by me, sat on either side. The birthday cake was still sitting on the counter, unlit and uncut. Sarah cleared her throat, didn't even look me in the eye, and dropped the bomb. "I'm leaving you, David. I've met someone else. He's 32. He makes me feel alive, and I've already packed my bags." I sat there frozen. I waited for the punchline. I waited for the guilt, or maybe a tear. Instead, I heard clapping. I looked at my daughters. The girls I taught to ride bikes. The girls whose scraped knees I bandaged. The girls I worked 60-hour weeks for so they could have everything I never did. They were smiling, applauding. "Finally, Mom," Chloe said, raising her wine glass. "You deserve to be happy. Don't let him hold you back anymore," Mia chimed in, glaring at me with actual disgust. "It's about time you broke free. He's always been so boring and controlling. Controlling, because I expected them to get jobs after graduation. Boring, because I sacrificed my own hobbies to afford their European vacations and Sarah's luxury lifestyle." A massive, suffocating silence filled my chest. The kind of silence that instantly kills whatever love you have left. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. The panic and heartbreak I should have felt completely bypassed me. It was instantly replaced by an ice-cold wave of absolute clarity. It was the most profound emotional detachment I have ever experienced. I carefully picked up my napkin, wiped my mouth, and folded it perfectly. I calmly set my plate aside. The room went dead quiet. They were waiting for me to explode. They wanted a reaction. They wanted to play the victims. I looked at Sarah, whose smug, victorious smile began to falter under my deadpan stare. Then I looked at Chloe and Mia. "Be happy, girls," I said. My voice was barely above a whisper, but it cut through the dining room like a scalpel. "But know this, I am not your biological father." The smugness vanished. The room dropped 10 degrees. "What are you talking about?" Sarah hissed, her face instantly draining of all color. I kept my eyes locked on the twins. "You've always thought I was the villain of this family. You thought I was too strict, too demanding. But you don't even know where you came from." I leaned back in my chair, perfectly relaxed. 23 years ago, your mother's boyfriend, a man exactly the kind of free spirit she's leaving me for today, bailed the second he found out she was pregnant with twins. He left her completely broke, facing eviction, and crying in a diner where I happened to be a manager. Sarah was visibly trembling now. "David, stop, please." "No," I said cleanly. "They deserve the truth. They're independent adults now, right?" I looked back at the girls. Their mouths were slightly open in pure, unadulterated shock. I took her in. "I paid off her debt. I married her. I signed the birth certificates. I adopted you out of pure pity, because I couldn't stand the thought of two innocent babies growing up in poverty with a mother who couldn't even care for herself." "You're lying," Chloe whispered, her voice cracking as tears pooled in her eyes. "I have the original adoption paperwork in the safe downstairs," I said softly. "You can look at it on your way out." I stood up from the table. I felt lighter than I had in a quarter of a century. I spent my entire adult life trying to build a safe, secure world for you three. I broke my back for this family. But looking at you right now, cheering for the destruction of our home, I realized my pity was entirely wasted. I pulled my keys out of my pocket and set the house key on the table. The house is in a trust under my name. You have 30 days to vacate. The joint credit cards will be frozen by midnight. Sarah, I suggest your 32-year-old has a big apartment. "David, wait, you can't do this to the girls," Sarah begged, suddenly realizing the gravy train had just violently derailed. "I'm not doing anything to them," I replied, walking toward the front door. "They aren't my responsibility anymore. Today my pity ends." I walked out into the cool night air. I didn't look back. Through the closed door, I could hear Sarah sobbing and the girls screaming at her, aggressively demanding to know if it was true. For the first time in 25 years, it wasn't my problem. I got into my car, started the engine, and drove away into the quiet street. Happy 51st birthday to me.